Sydney is expected to lose its title as the country's most expensive city.
Melbourne's been crowned Australia's most populated city.
The rents are going up, electricity's going up, food's going up.
Melbourne, Australia is priced as one of the top most expensive cities to live in. In 2017, it was even ranked as the 6th top most expensive city in the world. I just moved to Melbourne 3 months ago from California, specifically the Bay Area, and I wanted to record how much money I actually spend in a week living in Melbourne, Australia. Hey everybody, my name is Ellie, and let's truly see how much money I spend in a week living in Australia. For this week of spending, these are my average daily expenses rather than my things like rent and utilities. So let's start first with Monday. It actually worked out perfectly as I was recording this because Monday was May 1st. I got a coffee at my favorite shop. It's called Mr. No-Main, and that was only $5. And then I also got some sushi as well for lunch, which was $14.40. Then we finish off Monday, May 1st with a total of $19.40. Okay, now let's jump over to Tuesday. So Tuesday was another pretty similar day where I just bought coffee and I bought lunch. I went back to that same coffee place, which is called Mr. No-Main, and I got a coffee for $5 as well. It's kind of perfect too, because I normally pay in cash when I go get coffee. I can just give them a $5 bill and it's easy. And one of the best things about Australia too is that there's no tip and GST is also included with your price. I'm also gonna do a comparison of what I spend in a week in California as well, so you can kind of get a perspective of what the additional charge of, you know, not including GST or also having to add tip on top. I also got one of my favorite things, which is the chicken schnitzel from Schnitz, and that was $20.40. I normally just get a Garden of Eden burger and some chips on the side. And a way that I like to save money as well is instead of buying the sauces that they provide, because you have to pay for those sauces, I just walk back and I use my own tomato sauce from home. That way I'm not spending like a couple dollars on the tomato sauces at the place. Also, when it comes to coffee as well, I kind of like to shop around my area because Australia has so many coffee shops. I'm trying to find the best coffee shop for the best amount of money as well. So for Monday and Tuesday, now we have spent a total of $44.80. Now let's jump into Wednesday. So Wednesday I took a day into the city. I actually have a vlog about that too if you want to see more of the details of what I actually got up to. With going into the city, obviously I'm doing like a fun little excursion, a little trip, so there's going to be more cost involved with that, but I like to try and do it as cheaply as possible. When I'm out, I normally would get a coffee and some lunch, and then all of the stuff that I do is normally just exploring. So like if there's a market on, you know, you don't have to pay to go into the market, or anything that's really touristy, they normally try and charge you for that. So I try and avoid any of those things and just try and do the different free stuff that the city offers. So in order to take the train, you need these things called the PTV card, or they call it a MyKey. And that MyKey card pretty much lets you have access onto the trains and off the trains. And since I was using my PTV card, I needed to recharge it and add $10. So I added $10 on one of the machines when I was going into the city. And then while I was out, I decided to get lunch as well. So I got pizza at Melbourne Central. They actually had a pretty good deal for lunch, which is you get a pizza, a pasta, and a drink for $16.50. So I ended up getting a margarita pizza with ricotta ravioli and a water. And one great thing too about the PTV in Melbourne is that you can actually max out how much you spend in a day. For the trains that I was gonna take, they max out at $9.60 for a day. Even though I was taking a bunch of different trains and exploring the area, it only maxed me out at $9.60 instead of, you know, charging me for every single train that I would take. That's one thing that I really like about PTV, is that you have that max amount in the day that you can spend. It just really saves you when you're doing a bunch of traveling and a bunch of exploring. And then I also got a coffee as well on the way, which was $4.60. So now if we're gonna total up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, adding that all up, we are now at a grand total of $75.90 for the week. Now we jump into Thursday. So Thursday is when I did a little bit of shopping as well. I ended up getting dinner that night instead of lunch. So I had lunch at home and then I had dinner out, which was an HSP, which is called a halal snack pack. They don't have them the same in America. And then I also got a potato cake with that too. So that was $18. I was walking around the shops because it's a shopping center where all the food and the coffee and, you know, the Woolies and the Kmart are. So I stopped at Kmart and I've been eyeing this one scarf for a really long time and I ended up buying it because it was only $14. But definitely if I want something that's like a physical item rather than food, is that I try and sit and wait on it and really think like, would I use this? Is this something I really want? Just at least for a week, so that I know if I'm buying something, it's not just an impulse purchase, but it's something that I actually want and would get a lot of use out of. And then also I went to Woolies and I bought just some extra stuff because my trip to California was on the Sunday of this week. So I was doing a little bit of preparation preparation for that trip. So I went and I bought just some little snacks and like some razors, and I think I bought some like period products, things like that. Also, I noticed that the period products in Australia are a lot cheaper than they are in America. And I think that's because they're subsidized. I'm not actually completely sure, but if you do know more information about it, definitely let me know in the comments because I'm pretty curious. So yeah, at Woolies I spent around $34. So we get to a grand total for Monday through Thursday with $146.50. Now we're jumping into Friday. So Friday is where I spent a little bit too much money, honestly, but I was preparing for my trip to California, so I needed a dress for our graduation and I needed a couple of extra little things as well. But yeah, especially because I don't go out shopping a lot. When I do go out shopping, I realize how many things that I do need and that I've been wanting. So I only go like once every 4 months, so I feel like it balances out anyways. I first went to Universal and I tried on a bunch of different dresses. I am really tall, I'm 6 feet tall, so buying dresses is sometimes pretty tough for me, but Universal has a lot of really long dresses that fit me pretty well. So I was able to get 2 dresses there, and then while I was at the counter, they definitely upsold me, but they offered these tote bags, and I've been looking for a tote bag for a long time, and it was only $6. I bought 2 dresses and the tote bag for a total of $196. Then I went to another one of my favorite stores, which is Ganda, and I got a hoodie because I realized I've been wearing so many of my hoodies that I wanted a couple more because I've been wearing them so frequently, especially in going into the winter in Australia. So I bought a red hoodie for $59.95. Then I also jumped over to Cotton On Body and I bought just some different sports bras and a long sleeve that I'm actually wearing right now. So look at me getting use out of what I buy. And that was a total of $74.99. I took the bus on the way as well, but when I was on the bus, the PTV scanner wasn't working, so it was kind of nice. So we all got a ride for free on the bus. Normally that would be a couple dollars that I would add in. Since it wasn't working, we got them for free. So that was cool. Also later in the day, I did go get my nails done. These are the same nails that I have on now. When I pay with cash at the nail salon, they give me a little bit of a discount. Instead of being $70, it came to $63. Definitely anytime that you have that ability to get a little bit of a discount for something, try it. Okay, so with Friday's little shopping spree, this is gonna hurt the bank account at the end of the week. So that comes to a total of Monday through Friday with $540.44. That one hurt my bank account for sure. So on Saturday, I took a little trip over to the Vic Roads office so I could get a Vic Roads driver's license. I've been using my California driver's license, which you can use for 6 months of moving to the country. I was happy to get this done before I took my trip on Sunday. So I took the bus. I charged $310 for my first trip, and then on the way back, it was also $310. On weekends, the amount that they'll charge you is $6.70. So I maxed out at $6.70 for that day. I also got coffee and a donut. I got there a little bit early and I was waiting for my appointment, so that was $6. I also had to pay the fees for the driver's license, so that was $85.50. So when we add up Monday through Saturday, we have a total of $638.64. Honestly, a lot more than I normally do, but there was a lot of preparation in this week, so can definitely add up more about how much I've been spending. Okay, now finally we get to Sunday. So Sunday was when I was actually flying over to California. So I was in the airport, so the airport has a little bit higher prices. Okay, so the coffee at the airport, I had it at Brunetti's, and that was $6 at the airport. And then I also bought a water bottle, which was $5. And then sadly, while I was at the airport too, one of my hard drives that literally had all of my footage from the last like couple months of me being on YouTube, it all broke. I couldn't access any of the files. So I was definitely in a bad mood, and I think that's why I got myself a coffee, because I was like, I just need to make this day a little bit better. Like if we total up now Monday through Sunday, so this is our grand total, $649.64 for a week of spending money in Melbourne, Australia. Honestly, way more than I normally would, but I think Friday's little shopping spree definitely added a lot to that. I broke all of the totals into 7 different categories. In total for coffee, I spent $31.20. You know, I'm not the most proud about it, but at least something that I buy every day is, you know, under $5 or around $5. And then for the takeaway foods, I spent $69.30. That actually surprised me because I thought it would be a lot less, because I tend to buy things, you know, that are like under $20 when I go out for takeaway or anything like that. Seeing it all added up, I'm like, oh wow, that's actually kind of a lot. Then grocery, $39. So that's my little Woolworths trip, as well as the $5 at the airport that I bought too, because I kind of included that with grocery. For transportation, I was shocked at how cheap that actually was, at $16.70. Because when I'm back in California, I normally am spending a lot on just petrol and, you know, different fees for going through toll bridges, things like that. I'm actually shocked at how much money I am saving by using public transportation instead of having a car. And then the fees, which was my Vic Rose driver's license fees, was $85.50. It's not normally something that I have to buy every week, but definitely gets added in there. Then clothes, I spent a whopping $344.94. I understand these were clothes that I did need for an event. And then for self-care, which was getting my nails done, was $63. I guess that puts into perspective how much money an average 24-year-old like me is spending in a week. Honestly, this isn't totally normal of an average week in my life. Normally I'm spending a lot less, probably half or less than this. Since this was a week that I was preparing to go to California and go on a trip, it was a little bit more expensive than I normally would. I am gonna be tracking how much I spend in California in a week too, so we'll put those into comparison as well, since I wanted to see with Australian dollars and US dollars how that really compares. So we're gonna use some exchange rates. It's gonna be fun. Thanks guys so much for watching. If you want to watch more videos like this, definitely hit subscribe so you can catch up with more of my life in California and then when I come back to Melbourne, Australia as well. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and much love.